start. Check, mic, check. Okay, we're loud and clear. Welcome, good morning, and magical Monday. Woohoo! I am Felicia Muhammad, your spiritual life and business transformation specialist, healer, president of Oneness Wellness Foundation, and Awakening Dynamics practitioner, where we help you to be able to know how to access the subconscious mind to release the limiting beliefs, the baggage that's keeping you stuck in your life, in your health, in your wealth. And today we are talking, welcome, Brian Hardball Media. Today we are going to be discussing manifestation do's and don'ts. Okay, manifestation do's and don'ts. As you know, I've been running a series called Unleash Your Inner Millionaire. And so we are on, I think, number 5 that's coming up Thursday. However, this is in alignment with that, okay? Because we want to help you to know how to tap into the subconscious mind to find out and to see how the beliefs, the programs, the thoughts, the self-talk that we have with ourselves is keeping us stuck, okay? Shalom. So keeping us stuck. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. All right, is manifestation do's and don'ts. And I'm going to open up some seats. We got some seats open for those that may want to join us and join the conversation. You can share some of the tips that you do. As we talk about the do's, and then as we talk about the don'ts, you can share some of your experiences. All right, all right. So before we get started, I would like for us to thank you, Bruno. You were right on it, to share, to tweet this out, to tell a little bird, and invite some of your friends to come on over and join us. Yes, I just got it on my phone, Bruno. Thank you for sharing. Woohoo! It's exciting. So what I'm going to be offering on Thursday, just to let you know, we're going to be doing a teleconference. What we're going to be doing for 45 minutes to an hour, we're going to be doing the Unleash Your Inner Millionaire clearings. Okay, just these are limiting beliefs that my instructor, my teacher, the founder of Awakening Dynamics, or you may know it as the Formula for Miracles, over the past 10 years that he's discovered that at some shape, form, and fashion we have or have had or have been programmed, or it has been passed on generationally. Okay, so we're going to go through and we're going to deal with poverty. We're going to deal with the true nature of money. We're going to be dealing with struggling to having to make money. So you want to register for this particular teleconference because it's limited seats on, and we're just going to be doing all the clearings. And if you're not sure what I mean when I say clearings and releasing the blocks, you can go back and look at Unleash Your Inner Millionaire 1 and 3. And we actually do live demonstrations, or maybe number 4. We actually do live demonstrations, okay? So you can actually see and your body can already be acclimated and activated, because that's what this does when you have your first session. It actually goes in and activate the body's ability to begin to actually self-heal and begin to attract those things to you, okay? Because now your cells are like, oh, she's on point. She knows who we are. She knows the power of the subconscious mind, which is the autonomic nervous system. And now we can let her be aware of this. Let's make her aware of that. And I have actually had 2 of the people that were on last week's the first class. One of the ladies, she was like, I just have so many awarenesses now, and I just know I got so much to work on. And it's been a really beautiful experience. And she also came on and gave her testimony too, as a result of that complimentary session that we did for the first time. And I had never met her, just through Blab. And that's what I love about this platform, because we meet so many wonderful people like you. Yay! So I'm excited. I'm excited. So if you hear some background noise, that's one of the ladies that works here with taking care of my mother, my friend's mother, rather. And so she's happy singing, and so I'm glad about it. All right. Want to keep the people happy. All right. So when we talk about manifestations, What has been your experience with manifestations? I want you to think about that. What has been your experience with manifesting? We know that the law of attraction, the secret, really brought it all to the front. Besides Napoleon Hill, he was already talking about it, and that was he was one of the first books that I read around it. And of course, it's made reference to in the Bible, but we don't talk about it as manifesting. When Jesus said "be" and it is, that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. So, and he teaches some very good principles about the countenance and the type of energy and resonance that we all should have and be, from the heart space. Okay, from the heart space. So, what I want to share with you right now is okay, I got my notes. All right. So let's talk about this. So the level of wealth and prosperity that you enjoy, and I want you to consider this, all right? The level of wealth and prosperity that you enjoy in your life is not about how hard you work, your level of education, where you grew up, your profession, or even who you know. Instead, your abundance or lack of money is determined primarily by your subconscious mind. Now, I know that it's probably new to a lot of us because we've always been taught, oh, you got to work hard, you got to go to school, money don't grow on trees. Who do you think I am? Bank of America? You know, so we have been made to believe that it it has to be hard, and what for us earning money and being able to have the power to say be and it is, and it's not. It doesn't have to be hard. I had to learn that the hard way myself, because that's how I was programmed. My mother worked hard to take care of me. Single mother, she worked hard to take care of me. And so I know for me, when as hard as I saw her working, I knew I didn't want to work on anybody's job like that. I needed to be free enough to do what I wanted to do and still be able to take care of myself. So I knew at an early age that I was going to be an entrepreneur, and so who just came in? Hey, John. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking about manifestation do's and don'ts and giving us some points to consider. So I'm going to be opening up the seat for you to share as we go through some of these points. And if you would like to, you're welcome to join the seat. But right now, what we're doing is we're talking about the programs and the beliefs that we have been taught and have been put in our minds about money. All right. And what dictates our level of wealth and prosperity, having to work hard, go to school, get you a good education. And this is not to say that it does not contribute to it. Okay. But what we're saying and what I'm saying is that it's not the reason why. Okay. It is not solely the reason why you are wealthy. Okay. And that because we have people who don't work hard and who may be less intelligent as that rock outside, still have abundance of wealth. And they have people helping them to manage it, helping directing them and advising them and counseling them on where to invest it to keep growing it. So that's proof right there that you only have to work hard, you have to struggle to make money. Your level of education will determine, because we know that, and some of you who may be viewing this have gotten a degree and you still can't get a job. So, all right. So we have some validating proof. All right. And I know when I talk about that, it may seem like it's counterintuitive, but the more you think about it, it makes sense. And have you heard of, I know we all have heard stories of people who have won the lottery and had millions of dollars and they lost everything. Okay. So we know that the subconscious mind is controls 95% of who we are, what we be, and what we are creating. We are always creating. So be conscious of the thoughts that you have, because the words have power. Okay. And when you open your mouth, you are creating your reality or attracting things to you that happen. And then we want to blame everybody else for the things that happen to us. Okay. So I really want you to grab a hold of that, is that what you think about, you bring about. And we've all heard that. Okay. So I used to tell my ex-husband, my first ex-husband, keep your mouth off of people. Stop talking about people. Especially if you can't help them in their situation, keep your mouth off of people. Because again, we are suspended in spiritual laws. Okay, what goes around comes around, the law of cause and effect. So really be authentic and true to yourself and reflective, and look at the why you do the things you do before you start judging somebody else. Okay. We will prevent a lot of, and that's a good manifestation tip number one, we will prevent a lot of unnecessary drama and issues in our life if we would leave other folks alone and they stuff. If they ask our opinion, that's one thing. And then if you can't help them, I tell people, look, I don't know nothing about that. I don't have anything good to say, so I'm not gonna say anything. And I know that's not necessarily the normal thing to do, because people want to drag you into what they have going on. Okay, but we're not talking about that. So anyway, my point in bringing all of that up is for us to take personal responsibility for the words that come out of our mouth. Okay, because what I have come to learn in all of my years of growth, development, personal development, empowerment, and just learning, being one that seeks the good and um, in all things, and try to, because I'm very introspective. So when somebody tells me something about myself, I look at it to see if there's any truth in it. Welcome, Miguel. I look at it to see if there's any truth in it, because, sometimes people do try to tear you down. And so, and if there's any truth in it, I can look at it and be like, okay, but I just don't do the tit for tat thing. I don't. At least I try very hard to stay out of that zone. Welcome, Revel. Welcome, Revel. How are you today? We're talking about manifestation do's and don'ts. And the point I was asking us to consider and to share how we feel about it is that your level of wealth and prosperity that you enjoy in your life is not about how hard you work, your level of education, where you grew up, your profession, or even who you know. Instead, your abundance or lack of money is determined primarily by your subconscious mind. And so when we talk about the limiting beliefs that we have and have had, if we haven't done any work on it, like Revel, she offers tapping, EFT. And so if we haven't done any of the energy work, or the subconscious block clearing work, or the journaling, or Reiki, all of this type of this new age, and it's really new age to us because we have not been aware of it. Some of us haven't, most of us have. To get to the subconscious mind and understand really what's happening, then we continue to have and express the limiting beliefs that have been passed on from generation to generation, that were deposited within us when we were coming up, because our mother or our parents were in poverty, and, and we didn't even know we were poor, so when we wanted something and we told money don't grow on trees, or if you, highly religious and you were taking vows of poverty and that type of thing, then that's still affecting you today. if you haven't done any work to um, get to the root cause of why you're having some challenges, or even if you're not aware that there exists something different, just that simple awareness. Okay, so Rebel says many have no idea how the things from my past encroach into our lives, and that is so true. I was working with the client yesterday, and she was dealing with her job. Well, not her job, but the team that she works with in the management of the particular corporation. And so I was just led to call her. So I was at the point where I was focusing on what I was doing. And I was like, I'm going to be present right now. I'm not doing anything else because I can tend to multitask and I can still hear you and I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm doing something else. So I'm challenging myself to be present and because I know I can do that, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to pay attention to what I'm doing right now. I'm going to resist the temptation of multitasking, and I'm just going to give you my 100% attention. I'm going to be present right now. So I was doing that yesterday as I was listening to a class that I missed on Saturday, and in my spirit it was like, call so and so, and I was like, okay, because that's the other thing. That's another manifestation tip. You want to pay attention to that inner voice within. Follow your first mind. Follow your first mind. Okay, so I did, because in the past I hadn't, and I would always say, dang, I wish I had followed my first mind. So I learned from that to begin to follow the first mind, even if the results turned out with the appearance of looking like it was bad. Okay. Yes. Regeneration LBC says, answer the inner voice. Yes, yes, yes. And so I did it. And when I called her, I was like, how are you doing? I said, I just want to call you and thank you for because she joined one of the Periscopes that I did. And so I said, I just want to call and thank you for being on the Periscope. She was like, oh, you're welcome. And I was like, how are you doing? She was like, I'm depressed. I was like, no wonder I was guided to call you. I said, because I really wasn't trying to talk to nobody. I was really just trying to be present with what I was doing with my lesson. And she was like, wow. I was like, yeah. And so she was like, we got to talking, and so she was saying that she needed help because she was angry and with what her job was doing. And so, not her job, but the company. And she's one of the high-ranking producers in this company, recruiters in this company. And so as I was listening to her, I said, well, you have the tools that you need to be able to tap in and see what's resonating as truth with you based off of the thoughts that you're having, based off of the beliefs you're holding about this situation. And she was like, I do. I was like, yeah, you do. I said, you can do it. And so she just went on. So I just let her talk, because a lot of times when we just let people get it out, sometimes that's all they need. And so at Regional LBC says, if things are wrong, you still learn from the experiment of following that first voice. That's right. And it builds your confidence. It builds your confidence in trusting yourself, because that inner voice is that essence of the creator that is within you. Hey, Daryl, welcome, welcome. Is that essence of the creator that is in you. And because if we're made in his image and likeness, then, and Jesus said, greater works that I do, you can do, then that's building up your confidence of trusting yourself, and detaching. And this is a key to one of the manifestation tips too that we're going to talk about, and detaching from the results, because when we start labeling everything, that's when we maintain and stay in third dimensional living instead of fifth dimension. When we give everything a noun, or when we start naming everything or putting judgments on it, then we're still in a unawakened state. We're still on third dimension living. Okay, and the time is moving as such where we're going we're skipping the fourth and even going to fifth dimension. Okay, fifth dimension living. All right, where it's coming into the oneness, the energy, and you are ascending past having things having to be good, bad, right, or wrong. Okay, good, bad, right, or wrong. Okay. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, Michael. So I would like to get some feedback from what we've shared so far. Would anybody like to hop on the seat? I'm a man of God, Father. Okay, very good. Let's have you come on and join us.
Hey, good morning. What are we talking about right now?
Good morning. We're talking about manifestation, do's and don'ts, and we're talking about specifically how your education, your ability to work hard, your degrees don't determine necessarily that you are going to be wealthy. Okay, that is actually the beliefs that you hold in your subconscious mind that keep us that determines your level of prosperity and success. And so some of the preference we were talking about in that just a few minutes ago when you joined in is that when God said we be and it is, and Jesus said greater works that we do, when we don't follow that inner voice within and we begin to second guess ourselves, okay, that is still living like on third dimension living. But when we can ascend and release judgments of everything and people, and we follow the voice within, even if we followed the voice and the appearance of the situation turned out to be something bad that looked like it was bad, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was bad. Okay. And when we follow that voice within, it gives us courage to trust ourselves and to trust the way that God has made us in alignment with his will and his work that he has for us to do. So that's how I'm kind of paraphrasing it. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about in this instance as we talk about manifestation do's and don'ts of how we can say be and it is and be able to attract those things that are destined to serve us and help us to live prosperous and wealthy lives, and that it doesn't always include the money, but unlimited resources, because it's there's enough grass out here. There's enough everything out here, so we shouldn't be limited to only what we can see. So that's what we're talking about. How do you feel about that?
Wow, I mean, first of all, like I said, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek Him for everything that you do and say. Mm-hmm. Right? You're so right. What you're saying. I mean, was so much that you said no, but what I gather from it is that you're not supposed to depend on your own ability to do things. You have to trust that inner voice, and I'm pretty sure that inner voice within you is a voice of God that is talking to you, and you're gonna follow his direction, because oftentimes we do try to listen to a voice and it's not the voice of God, and that really lead us astray, so for us to understand and know the voice of God, we have to be in the word pretty much every day of our life, and we have to seek him, and we have to have this constant communication with him so we can get to hear that inner voice, which is his voice that is talking to us, because often things we want stuff and oftentimes we want stuff and I believe there's a difference between wants and need. Mm-hmm. We want stuff and the question is, do we really need it? Mm-hmm. Does God really desire to give us this? If he give it to us, are we gonna be able to
You're breaking up really bad. I can't hear you. You're breaking up really bad.
Stuff,
Yeah, maybe go out and come back in because you're breaking up really bad. Yeah, go out and come back in because you're breaking up really bad. Can you guys still hear me?
Okay. I can hear you. Let me go and go come back.
Yeah, go ahead and come back in. Okay, so keeping in line with what we are going to be sharing, I want to share something else with you to consider. The level of wealth and prosperity that we enjoy in our lives works exactly the same way as a thermostat. Okay, so we're going to be talking about in an upcoming blab, I think on Thursday, about setting your financial thermostat. Okay, so what happens is, let me finish the sentence. So the sum total of all your subconscious programs about wealth, money, and abundance serves to create a subconscious financial thermostat whose setting indicates the average level of wealth that you will experience in your life. So that's taking us into another blab, but I wanted to just touch on it to give you, hey, Reverend Noreen, welcome, welcome. I wanted to give you just a little insight to consider moving forward, because when you're able to release the limiting beliefs in the programs that we have around prosperity and success and money, the nature of money, and begin to shift those beliefs and change those beliefs through the subconscious mind. Reverend Noreen, yeah, she is Superwoman, right? You begin to increase your ability by which you're able to hold more resources. Okay, so the last point we were making was about when you, and I was saying this is a key to manifesting, manifesting do's and don'ts, is when you set a goal. So you can write this one down. When you set a goal, you want to detach from the results. And I know that seems like that does not make any sense at all. So I'm saying you want me to write a goal. So for example, if I want to generate $10,000 this month, I'm going to do all this stuff to position myself, based off of what I have access to and the work that I do. I'm going to make phone calls. I'm going to do my mirror work. I'm going to get exposure to a certain number of clients, new clients. I'm going to reactivate my old clients and offer them some complimentary sessions in what I'm doing so they can get results and get services. And now you're telling me I have to detach from the expectation of receiving the $10,000 that month? Yes, that is what I'm telling you. It's so exciting. Okay, so how does that work? Okay, so we've heard of a principle called what you resist persists, right? Okay, so when, and I'm gonna try to make this make sense, but even if it doesn't make sense to you right now, just get it in your spirit and see how it works with you in your spirit, and ask the creator of all that is to feed it back to you the way you can understand it, okay? And even give you an example in your life to be able to help you see what that means. Okay, so for me, because I had a hard time grasping this concept, but then when I just let go of everything that I thought I knew, and that is the number one key that I would share with you on manifesting, a manifesting do. Be willing to let go of everything you think you know. How does that resonate with you? Does that make sense? Can you feel that? If it don't make sense, it's okay, because I get it. It didn't make sense to me either when I first heard it. I thought it was counterintuitive. I'm like, that don't make sense. Why would I do that? But when I did it, it was like, whoa, it really does make sense, and you have to really know who you are as a person. You have to be honest with yourself about why you do what you do and your inner workings. Okay, so for me, I used to be a worrier. And you know how you pray to God about something, and then you start second your guess even after you done prayed about it. How many of y'all can relate to that? Am I the only one? It's okay if I am, because I done stuck out like a sore thumb in everywhere else I go anyway, so it's okay too. How many of y'all have had that experience? Put it in the chat. Give me some claps, some props or something. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I know I'm not the only one. Okay. Thank you, Reverend Noreen. All right, John. All right. Good. Okay. Isn't that crazy? But I mean, that's just not crazy being bad, but that's just the nature of, I think, well, what I know for me is the journey of growing up into the oneness of with me and my creator, with me and my God and my own personal relationship. So because I know I was a worrier and, I didn't trust myself. I was dealing with some low self-esteem issues. So you see how all of this layers and layers and layers of stuff, programming and experience that contribute to our ability to have prosperity and success and wealth. Okay. Yes. John says, and the journey towards spiritual maturity and relationships. Yes, 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 yes. So when I heard this principle, it was like, and I was willing, operative word, I was willing to let go of everything I believed. Okay. So Reverend Noreen, if you want to jump on the seat and share, you can. And anybody else that's listening, I have three spaces open. And where's my other guy? Brian, if you want to jump in, please feel free. Okay. So for me, how I was able to wrap my mind around this principle, on higher spiritual planes and not necessarily in the third dimension level, where seeing is believing. Not necessarily. Seeing is not always believing. So how I was able to wrap my mind around this was, and I'm actually doing this now. I keep practicing it because each time I get a different revelation, and it just takes me to another whole level of ascension. And I'm like, yes, 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 give thanks. And so how I was able to wrap my mind around this was that I began to, when I would set goals, I would be like, okay, first I dealt with the worrying piece. That was the first thing I did. Okay. Because it's harder when you still are dealing with low self-esteem and self-doubt, okay, those self-sabotaging beliefs. So I dealt with all of that first. Okay, so how did I do that? I dealt with it by looking at myself and looking at the situations when it comes up and being honest with myself about the intentions and the motivations of why I'm doing what I do, and not blaming other people for my feeling of low self-esteem just because my dad wasn't in my life. I'm not blaming my dad. He did what he was supposed to do, so I love my dad and I don't let nobody talk about my dad. I don't care what he hadn't done, so I was really able to be introspective and look at why I do some of the things I do, what's my motivation and that type of thing. So I dealt with that first. So then I got to the point where I had enough courage to be willing to let go of everything I thought I knew. Now that was a really big one because it was like, I felt like, in truth, I felt like I was denying. I felt like I was denying God, And what was so profound was that I didn't have to let it go, but because I was willing, it opened the doors for me to have the understanding and to be ascended or exalted into a higher level of consciousness and comprehension of the principle itself. I hope that's not too complicated to understand, but that's how it happened for me. So how I practiced getting to that point was I would set a goal, and sometimes I would put a time span on it. I tried it two different ways. I would set a goal, put a time span on it, and then I would set a goal and just leave it open. Okay. And then what I began to do is I chose and I set the intention to be aware of how it's going to show up without having to know how it's going to show up. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let me know if you got that, because I could say it again. Okay. That makes sense to you, John. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, but say it again. Okay. Thank you, Mia. Welcome, welcome, beloved. Um, I I set intentions. I set one with the time span. For example, an example we're talking about today is $10,000. Okay, $10,000 a month. Wanted to increase my income by $10,000 a month or generate $10,000 a month. Okay, so I set a goal for one example, and then I set the same goal without a time limit being put on it. Okay, so then what I did was I set the intention that I wanted to be aware of how it was going to show up without having to know how it's going to show up. So for example, we say, okay, I want to make $10,000, but I don't know how to do it. Okay, that was the case. I knew of some things to do, far as reactivating my client list. Welcome, Julie. Reactivating my client list, reaching out to them, seeing how they're doing, letting them know what's up with me, just reestablishing a relationship. And then with the current client list I had, offering some specials, offering some discounts. So there were things that I knew, be aware of how it's going to show up without knowing how it would show up. Yes, yes, that's right. That's what I'm doing today. This is perfect. Woohoo, we're in alignment, sister. Yes, yes, yes. And so the things that I knew to do those, because at the same time, welcome Queen Bee, at the same time, I wanted to expand my reach. Okay. And then yeah, I wanted to expand my reach. Okay, so let me get back to the point. So I was saying, yes, that I knew how to do it, but I wanted to be open to the unexpected, the things that we can consider miracles that we didn't see on the radar. Have anybody had those experiences? Welcome, Stephanie. Things that show up that are not on the radar. You couldn't even fathom that it would show up that way. Can we get some props on that? Some yeses on that? Okay. So that's what I was open for, because I knew based off of what I had been doing, what some of the results were. Okay, so I wanted to be open to doing something different and knowing something greater. Okay, that was definitely outside of me. So one of the tips of manifesting is that you have to set, not you have to, but I would ask you to consider setting goals that you have not been able to accomplish before, and you don't know how you can do this. So set some really big goals to manifest. Okay, but start with small things to build up your confidence. So that's manifestation tip number 2. Start with small things to build up your confidence. Okay, start with small things to build up your confidence. Okay, so a manifestation, yes, be open to the unexpected. Right. Because here's the thing, guys. When you small jumps lead to large leaps. I like that. Regeneration LBC. I like that. Let me get at a star. I like that. And Mia, let me connect with Mia. Okay, Mia, connect. Yes. Okay, so what we have to remember is that, okay, we have to, like we said, set big goals. All right, so getting back to my point, I choose to remember, give thanks. So with setting the big goals, you have to remember and know that when you begin to be in alignment with your purpose work, because we only do work. I know I'm talking to people that only do work that they have fun doing, right? We all are doing stuff that we enjoy doing. We can do it without getting paid, right? Right. I know I'm with the right crowd. So if you're doing something that's not really in your highest good, or is serving you and you're having fun doing it and making money doing it, we need to have a conversation, because I can help you to be able to know what your purpose is and the pathway to achieve it. Okay. All right. Because you want to, this is the time, the frequency, the energy, the shift that's happening to whereas you can now begin to be in alignment, perfect alignment with who you are and why you are here on earth to serve and experience the greatest life that you've ever had in this lifetime. Okay, so getting back to Born 25 Sweet. Yes, amen to that. Welcome, Jeff. Welcome. We're talking about manifestation, do's and don'ts. And if anybody remember the first two I gave, because I get so excited, it's just like it leaves me. But it'll come back to me. So the second one was start with small things first. Okay, in order to build up the trust of yourself, because this is a personal experience and a personal relationship. Okay, so you're not looking outside of yourself for the manifestations to happen. Okay, you're not looking outside of yourself for the manifestations to happen. Okay, so getting back to this detaching from the goal, getting back to detaching from the results of the goal. If you set a goal, like I was giving an example, I set a goal to have $10,000, generate $10,000 in additional income, right? So I know I could implement the things that have worked in the past. I know about that. I know what that brings. So this challenges you to step outside of your comfort zone and be open to the unexpected, because there are people that are destined. There are places, people, places, and things that are destined to support you in this manifestation process. Welcome, Lady KK. There are people destined. Welcome, Crystal. There are people destined to help you in your manifestation process. Okay, so when you detach from the results, what does that look like? As I said earlier, being willing to be open, to be willing to let go of what you think you know, and be open to the unexpected, of things showing up that was not on the radar. Things showing up that was not on the radar. So what does that look like? It looks like you being aware and listening for that small, still voice to say, talk to this person. Give your flyer to this person. Start a conversation with this person. Because for me, I can talk to anybody. I can do cold calls really good. I don't have no problem talking to anybody because I'm a social kind of butterfly, right? Okay, I can't answer you right now. Sorry, guys. Decline. My phone not working. Okay, so I can talk to anybody. And so this manifestation tips is knowing who you are. You got to be truthful with yourself about yourself, because that's going to empower you. So when you hear the voice, even if it sounds crazy, you are at the point that you've been practicing it for so long, you trust yourself. And you know that even if it looks like it's bad, it's not really bad, because everything that looks bad is not bad. There's some good in everything. Okay? There's some good in everything. All right. I know I love that song too. Am I wrong? Oh my God, that is my theme song. Oh my God. Yes, you are my soul sister. Yes, Mia. So, okay, let me breathe and get back focused. Okay, so detaching from the results. So you want to be open to things showing up that was not on the radar. All right. So because if you already know how you can make this manifestation happen, I mean, is it really a manifestation? Okay, it depends on the level, I guess. Okay, Mia, thanking the universe for bringing you my way today. Woohoo! As I am thanking you for showing up. See, we agreed a long time ago we were going to have this experience on this particular day, talking about this particular subject and supporting each other moving forward. See? As with all of you. Souls. Hey, J. Carol. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So when we detach from the results, it opens us up. Thank you, Born Sweet. It opens us up to higher levels of consciousness and experiences. Because how many of you know that when you have something happen to you or happen for you and with you, okay, because we're always in creation mode. Remember, we're always in creation mode. With the words that you speak, the thoughts that you have, you're always creating. So be intentional with the words that you speak to people, that you say to people. in your relationships. First of all, to yourself, in your relationships, about money. I'm broke. Don't ever let me hear you say that, okay? You are not broke. For one, you can be fixed. You can be fixed. So you're not broke. You just may not have any money right now, but you're not broke, okay? So please don't use that language. It is so disempowering, okay? And it repels. It repels. Words have power. The letters, the alphabets vibrate at a frequency. Each alphabet has a frequency at which it creates, okay? So we have high vibration, we have low vibration frequencies, okay? So please, I'm imploring you to be intentional with the words you say, because thought travels at 186,000 miles per second. So you can take the time to think about what you say before you open your mouth. Oh, that's just how I am. Well, you can change. You can change, all right? So that's manifestation tip number 2. Number 4, you can change, okay? And the don't is release and relinquish using disempowering words, okay? Can't. That is a word that should be eliminated from your dictionary. You can replace it with without. If you say, I can't have that, or I can't do that, you may say it another way. You may be limited in your ability, and that's more of the truth than you can't do it. Because when you're honest with yourself and you just simply, this is a manifestation do. Number 6 is when you simply ask the question. When you ask the question, the universe can't do any, the universe will always send you people, places, and things and provide a way for the answer to show up. That's a universal law. That's a universal law, okay? So, welcome, Crystal. Welcome, Crystal. So, I want to finish the point about the detachment from the results. So remember, the key is being willing to let go of everything you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you will have to let go of everything you know. It's just being willing. It's a whole lot of power in being willing, okay? All right. So welcome, David. Welcome, David. So when you're willing to let go of everything you know, a whole world opens up to you, okay? And it doesn't mean, like I said, that you will have to. You just have to be willing. Just like when Abraham was getting ready to sacrifice his son, he was willing to do it. But did he have to do it? No. Bada bing. Okay. So when we detach from the results, hold on a second. Oops. So when we detach from the results, you are opening yourself up for it to show up in unexpected ways on the radar. And I can't say that enough. That's really key. And I guess that's why it keeps coming up. I keep going directly back to that point. Okay. So I'm going to give you a good story of how this principle works. And when I heard it, it was like, bing. Okay. So remember, we're talking about detaching from results. You set a goal. You know some parts of how you can contribute to it, because you do have to put some energy into it. You do have to, you have to put some work into it. There's some things that you have to do. All right. And so when you do those things, you want to be open to knowing that you can do something different, okay? That something different that you hadn't quite considered can show up. And that's what you want to be aware of and open to. So when the voice within tells you to do a certain thing or to speak to a certain person, then you can know what that looks like, all right? And you'll be able to follow the instructions that your inner voice gives you and not second guess it. And be without second guessing it. Okay, so that's really, really key. So the story is there was a man who had a son, and so he had a horse and he had a farm. Okay, so there was a time when a storm came through, and so the storm came through and tore down the man's farm. Okay, and so the neighbors came by and they was like, "Oh my God, this bad thing happened. What are you gonna do?" He was like, "It could be good, it could be bad. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. In other words, in modern day terms, it is what it is. You know." And so the resources came. They got the farm back together, and then there was the son had gotten on the horse and broke his leg. The son got on the horse and broke his leg. And some of y'all may know this story, so I may be taking some of it, spinning it around, but this is how I remember it. The son got on the horse and broke his leg. And it was like the neighbors came through, the community came through. "Oh my God, this is such a bad thing that has happened. What are you going to do? Because your son really helped you out on the farm. What are you going to do?" And he was like, "It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know." You see, he didn't make any judgments about it one way or the other. Okay. So then the war came. And because the son broke his leg, he didn't have to go to war. So I'm going to stop right there. That is a prime example of detaching from results. Because when we plan, when I say this, I want to put a disclaimer because I'm not saying it's not good to plan. It is good to plan. And in your planning, be open to ways and means that it can happen even greater than what you have envisioned. Okay? Be open to ways it can happen greater than you could ever imagine. Okay? So, welcome, Jason. Oh, he's already been in. Okay, so give me some feedback because I don't want it to be a monologue. I want to hear from you all. We're supposed to be sharing here. I want some feedback. If it's good to you, want me to keep going, then I will. Okay, it's no big deal. I just want to make sure you're getting it. Great story. Keep going. Okay, Mia. Anybody want to join me on the seat? Because I would love to hear some of your experiences about some of these principles that I'm sharing, because I know that because we have agreed to do this a long time ago, you are powerful people in your own rights, and that I can definitely learn from you too. So that's what I'm about, collaboration. All right. All right. So he didn't have to go to war because he had a broke leg. But all the neighbors came by saying it was bad, saying, "Okay, Born 25 Sweet says, same, you're right on, and I'm learning from you. Give thanks. I'm grateful." And so you see how when things happen and we welcome Kathy, you see how things happen and when we put judgments on them based off of our experiences and our perceptions, which doesn't make it good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is. And I want to encourage you that when you do that, think about it before you say it, so you can really be authentic in yourself as to why you speaking it. Is it going to contribute to end result? And what is the end result? And should there be an end result? So again, these are just principles to apply in different areas of your life, okay, to be aware. Because we're always creating, we're always manifesting. We're always creating, we're always manifesting with using the words that we have, okay? All right, so I want to get to another principle, okay? Because on Thursday, we're going to be talking about how to increase your financial thermostat, okay? So Thursday evening at 7, I'm going to be doing a conference call and helping us to unleash our inner millionaire. So we're going to be on Thursday at 7 p.m. I'm going to be taking you all through some just common beliefs that most of us have had, or somebody in our family, generational from past life, has been passed down to us. And I consider this, I call it baggage. Okay, these limiting beliefs, you may hear me refer to it as baggage, programs, blocks. So we have 80 something days left in this year, and we want to be able to unleash our inner millionaire. And it is just not limited to money. We're talking about unlimited resources and access to places, people, things, opportunities. Okay, money is just one form. All right, so how many have been able to keep up with some of the tips that I've been just dropping? Okay, very good, very good, very good. All right, so the next thing that I want to share with you is okay, so when we talk about manifesting, of course, we know it can be very complex. And in a nutshell, manifesting is the process, and I'm reading from my notes so I can get back on track. In a nutshell, manifesting is the process of attracting things outside of yourself into your life, such as money, a new job, romantic interest, a house, anything you might desire. Okay, for our purposes here, I want to highlight some powerful components of manifesting. And guess what it is? Guess what the key to manifesting is? Does anybody want to try? Welcome, Peggy. Does anybody want to try to guess what? And I know you probably know, because when I said you're gonna be like, oh, letting go. Okay, that's good. That's not it, but that's key. That's a key mechanism that we need to have. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, that's a key mechanism that we need to have. A key component of our manifesting is, drum roll, please. Hey, Alex, is feeling. Okay, so we know the law of attraction has been put out here. And how many of us have tried to do a lot of stuff the law of attraction says and have not gotten results that you think you should have gotten? Give me some props. Communicate with me in the chat. Okay. Welcome, Boomy. All right. So how many of you know that the law of attraction is a sub-law of a bigger law? It's the 14th sub-law of a bigger law, right? Okay, welcome, Elena. Okay, so okay, so now so this is going to prove my point about the programs, the limiting beliefs, the stuff that has been passed on generational, that is preventing us from manifesting in certain areas of our life. Okay, because we got some blocks, we got some things that are keeping us challenged. Okay, all right, so let me read this to you and just follow me here. All right, the law of attraction has gotten a lot of press and exposure, and many people are now aware that our own thoughts and focus have a powerful impact on the life experiences we manifest. However, empty thoughts, meaning those that are not backed up by a feeling, actually have very little power in the universe. So now do you see why I'm saying that feeling is a key component to manifesting? Feeling. So when you have your next, I'm sure you're thinking about some stuff you want to manifest now, because remember, one of the tips that I gave is to start small. One of the tips I gave is to start small, so you can build up your own confidence in yourself, in your ability, because some of us suffer with low esteem. Some of us suffer with not being good enough. Okay, so you want to be able to, and if you're honest with yourself, if you have those challenges, that's the first step in any manifestation process. You have to be honest with yourself about your shortcomings. Okay, and when you're able to be honest with yourself about your shortcomings, that opens up other doors of opportunities for you to evolve out of those shortcomings. Okay, all right, so This is why it's possible for some people to say their mantras and affirmations a million times without measurable changes in their lives. How many of you experienced that? I know I have. And it's like, really? Really? Okay. All right. So, so there is an excellent description and explanation of this process in the book called The Divine Matrix by Gregg Braden. Now, I'm not getting any compensation for promoting Gregg Braden's book. However, I share. Okay. So I want to introduce you to a metaphor. So imagine that your life is like a car. And we've heard this in The Secret, right? Imagine that your life is like a car. Your body and the world around you are the car itself. Your thoughts are the steering wheel, and your feeling is the fuel in the gas tank. How many of y'all can feel that? Y'all can feel into that? Can I say that again? Okay. Imagine that your life is a car. Your body and the world around you are the car itself, and your thoughts are the steering wheel. The thoughts we think, the self-talk, the negative self-talk we have, because you know the more you talk negative to yourself, you get more of that. Have y'all noticed that, right? It shows up in many different ways, okay? And your feeling is the fuel in the gas tank. So in order for your car to go anywhere, you must have your thoughts steering where you want to go, and you must have sufficient feelings to fuel the journey towards your goal. So I'm going to stop right there. How does that resonate? Can you feel into that? Does that feel good to you? Has that helped you to make some connections as to why some of the manifestations and the goals that you have not flourished and have not come into fruition? I know it did for me. I was like, this makes so much sense. And I'm a Philly type of person. Welcome, Catherine. Okay. All right. So, okay, so it's been an hour, so I'm going to get ready to end this. But I wanted to be able to share some of just some snippets, some snippets of welcome, Nor, some snippets of manifestation do's and don'ts. Do we have anybody want to join me in the seat, not the hot seat, but in the seat to talk about, to share some of your thoughts and even some of your experiences of what we talked about? If not, you can share it in the chat and I'll just read it out. Okay. And thank everybody for tweeting this out to your friends. Hello, how are you? Welcome, Nor, master teacher, doctoral researcher, author, and lifetime learner. Yay, I love lifetime learners. We are such wonderful people. Okay, so now what do you do now that you have these manifestation tips? I want you to go practice. I want you to practice this. Practice what we talked about today, from starting with first taking an internal look within yourself and have the courage to look at your shortcomings and why you do some of the things you do. Okay, because that's power just within itself. And it diffuses people from being able to push your buttons because you've already acknowledged your shortcomings and you know why you do what you do. So when somebody else sees it, you know, it may make you a little uncomfortable, just to kind of depending on where you are with it. Okay. However, you accepting it and looking at it has taken a huge amount of power of one who may have called you out on something. And then because, you know, you don't want nobody to know and you didn't think nobody could see you, you know, you cuss them out or do whatever you do or want to fight. Okay. So when you are able to go inside your closet and acknowledge why you do some of the shit you do, and I use that term very lovingly, and it is also an acronym. Welcome, Julian. It is also an acronym. I encourage you to go in your closet and acknowledge and confess. You don't have to go to, whether you Catholic or whatnot. I respect all expressions of a higher power and, the religions. So you are your best priest. Okay, you are your best priest. That's why we have these religious facilities as structures for us, and the scriptures tell us that this is the true house. Okay, so you are your best priest, you're your best minister, you're your best pastor, because you know you better than anybody. If you keep telling fibs to yourself, then nobody else has a chance. So just be willing to go in the closet or wherever, private area, and just start acknowledging it. Write it out, and when you write it out and you see it, it's like, wow. At least I know that's how it was for me. It was like, wow, wow. And it really made me open up to forgiveness of myself. Because, like the scriptures say, God, watch out for fools and babies. And I can acknowledge I have been a fool sometimes. Okay. And so that acknowledgement is so powerful. All right. So let's see what else I wanted to share. So with being able to be honest with yourself about why you do what you do is very empowering. Okay. And so that's really tip number one of what to do with manifesting. Tip number 2 is to, I know they're out of order, but tip number 2 is start small, okay, with your manifestations, so you can build up that trust within yourself and trusting that inner voice that warns, that guides, that reproves, okay? And what happens too when you're able to trust that thought, because sometimes, we got some other voices going on too that are of evil spirits or unrighteous aspects of ourselves. The devil is real too. He's in flesh as well. And so when I'm acting like a devil by doing something underhanded or manipulative. So see, I wanted to show you what I just did. I wanted to show you that when we was talking about that judgment and that third dimension living, that's what I just did to myself. And that's a process, okay? That is a part of the process of growing up into the oneness of who you are as a divine being in flesh, okay? So remember I said we're going from third dimension living to fifth dimension. We're going through fourth a little bit, but we're accelerating to fifth dimension living, okay? And so that's another whole subject, OMG. So when you recognize why you do what you do, it helps you to be able to release the self-judgment. Because I could be, oh my God, I was really critical of myself. Could nobody be harder on me than I was on myself? Okay. And so I had to learn to be easy with myself. It's okay. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the process. So I'm hoping that this helps you to excel at a much faster rate, and it doesn't have to take you as long as it took me to learn some of this. Okay. So that's my intent. That's my prayer with sharing all of this with you, so that you can excel at a much, much faster rate, and I can help you do that. Okay. All right. So the other point was to release disempowering words like can't, broke, I don't know how to do that. Well, okay, that may be true. You may be without the knowledge of how to do a certain thing. That is true. The subconscious mind does not resonate, don't. It doesn't resonate with can't. It doesn't understand that. So if you say I don't have no money, it's like, okay, you don't have any. That's what you're getting. All right. So, and we talked about when you set goals to detach from the results. Practice that detachment. That's powerful. Practicing detachment. And what I have found, just me personally, is that when I practice detachment, it it has decreased my ability of being disappointed. It has decreased my ability and feeling of being disappointed and having hurt feelings. So you may say, well, you're trying to act like you supernatural. No, it's not that. It's just when you understand yourself first and foremost, and because we are reflections of each other in some shape, form, or fashion, then you have some insights into the possibilities of others. And of course, they have different experiences, they have a different life path. I get all that. All that plays a part. I want you to consider that the people that come into your realm and your atmosphere, your sphere of influence, and I know you all are listening because I'm not getting no props, so y'all probably all into this, right? But it's okay because I know it's good. I get into it too, and maybe it's not resonating with some of you, but that's okay too. That's okay. So when people come into your life, they come into your life for a couple of reasons. Maybe for an example of somebody else, maybe directly for you. You love my laugh. Thank you, Hardball. I'm always laughing. I'm pretty much a happy person for the most part. I do have my times though, but I only give myself, and I'm gonna get back to my point. I only give myself. It used to be 8 minutes, but now I took it down to like 2 minutes. If I'm like feeling what they call depressed, it's only 2 minutes. I got to get over it. I have to acknowledge it because you want to be true about what you're feeling when you're feeling it. You have to be honest with yourself about that. However, choose and set the intent not to stay there. Okay? Because what happens is when we have these low vibrational emotional feelings, and have you noticed that you have those strong, they be really strong? Have you noticed how strong they are, and they seem to linger, and it's easy for them to pop back up? And how easy is it for you to be happy for yourself or happy for somebody else? How easy is that, and how often does that come up? That's something to consider. Okay, so when we talked about one of the key tips of manifesting outside of being honest with yourself, welcome Lucas, outside of being honest with yourself, the second one is the feeling. Okay, so we have to really hold on to that and embody that. We got to really embody that, okay? So it becomes who we are. And when we do it so often, we develop it from a habit to discipline to a lifestyle. So that's what I come here to share with you and expose you to, is a oneness lifestyle, a power of oneness lifestyle. And power is also an acronym for people organized with evolving responsibility. People organized with evolving responsibility, the power of oneness. Okay? And so that oneness first starts with your relationship with you and your inner voice, that higher power that beats your hearts, that breathe you, that the blood flows through your veins. Okay? So I'm not going to preach. However, I wanted to express that because that's what Creator is giving me to share. All right. And like I said, I'm being obedient to my voice within and following my first mind. And I remember I was getting ready to say about following the first mind. I choose to remember that. I think I did talk about it. Sometimes it may look like it's bad or whatever, and it's not necessarily bad, and the labels and the judgments that we give it. Okay, so I went over that. Okay, so with recapping, we were on the detachment. the power of detachment and being willing to let go of everything that you know. And I would recommend, because as I'm looking at some of your names, I can kind of read your energy and know, some things about you. Welcome, Lauren, and know some things about you. So, be easy with yourself. Be easy with yourself. Yeah, like Miss Julie, be easy with yourself, Miss Julie. Okay. Don't be don't be verbally abusive with yourself. And with this being Domestic Violence Month, my question I have always wanted to ask is, how are we abusing our own selves domestically? This vessel right here that we carry. So this contributes to the power that we have to unleash the inner millionaire and manifest new realities for ourselves and co-create new realities for ourselves. Okay. So detaching from results, being open, you can have your plan. Again, it's good to have your plan, have your desire, your visions of where you're going. All right. And be flexible enough and open to greater possibilities. Be flexible and open to greater possibilities, and for it to come from ways and means that you may not have even thought of. But because, and I'll say, and because you are intentionally set the intention to be aware of who's destined to work with you, who's destined to support you, who's destined to help you overcome this obstacle, manifest this goal, then you are intently listening for that small, still voice and following the guidance of that small, still voice. Those insights that you may get. It just may come from nowhere. And because we said earlier that thought travels at 186,000 miles per second, you have time enough to ask questions. That's another tip. Ask, as Abraham Hicks says, ask and it is given. The Bible talks about that. Ask and it is given. Okay. So manifestation don't is, and I put it like that because I know that's what we understand. I know that's what we understand. So that's why I worded it like that, so that we can have this participation. And I thank you so much for being a part of this this Blab series. And go back and take a look at the Unleash Your Inner Millionaire series that we did, the first one, and I actually show you how, and I take you through a process of what happens in a session. And some of the people have actually come back and shared some of their results as a result of participating in that session. Okay. And so you want to be able to take a look at that. So on Thursday evening, let me give you my website. So if you want to, this is where you can register for the call on Thursday. We're doing an Unleash Your Inner Millionaire call. And let me just share with you some of the blocks we're going to be clearing, because I know I have been talking about it, but I haven't said specifically what they are, right? So some of the blocks to prosperity, common blocks to prosperity, again, that consciously you may not even be aware that you have, but it could be passed down generationally, okay, are becoming a rich person, reasons to be poor, you have to struggle to make money, you have a vow of poverty, the true nature of money. We're going to talk about what is the true nature of money. We're going to clear blocks around the true nature of money, and that generating money has to be hard. It has to be a struggle. You have to sacrifice. So when, I know I've worked with people, I work with myself because I had some of them. After I did this, what I'm going to take you through, I did it for myself. So after I did it, my income increased by 20% in 2 days. My income increased by 20% in 2 days. So, and when I did, just like the Healing 101 and a few, maybe 3, I think we went over 4 blocks in the first session. One of the ladies, because it was 3 ladies on there and then people in the chat. So you can do this wherever you are. One of the ladies in a week closed $1.4 million in sales accounts. That blew my mind. $1.4 million in sales accounts. The other lady was dealing with, okay, so the first lady was dealing with fear around making the call. She was dealing with fear around making the phone calls to people she didn't know and even talking to people she didn't know. So when we worked on the fear, that was the block that was keeping her from unleashing her inner millionaire. That was the fear from keeping her from unleashing her inner millionaire. And she talks about it. So you don't have to take my word. She talks about it. Okay. And then with the other lady, she's older, and both of them are like, one is late 60s. No, one is late 50s. The other one is mid 60s. And so the other lady, she talked about, she wanted to be, you have that block? Okay. All right. She, there's some stuff going on in the background. I'm trying to focus. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, yes, give thanks. So she was dealing with being worried about having enough time to do everything she wanted to do because she's getting older. Okay. And so when we cleared that block with her and she wanted to focus on putting these systems in place for her team so that it would make it easier for them to accomplish the goals that were set out. Okay, for them to increase their bottom line because it's in sales and network marketing. And so when she reported back after that first session, which is the Unleash Your Inner Millionaire, was done last Tuesday. The replay is available. She reported back, and that's recorded as well, and you can hear her talk about it. She talked about how her house was a mess. She said, my house was a mess. She said the next day she was able to close cabinet doors and clean up her kitchen. So it seems like that doesn't relate. However, when you have one issue or one block, it has layers attached to it. Okay. And so when you can get to the core of the block, it releases all the other layers attached to it. Okay. It's like they just fall off. It's like they just fall off. Okay. So she talked about how she was able to clean up her kitchen, and she said her house was a mess because she just felt stuck, and she was really dealing with depression because I told her that's what came to me when we were having a session, and she was really dealing with depression. And she was like, I wouldn't have thought about it like that. So you see how this helps you to align the subconscious mind and the conscious mind so that they work in unison together. And you become so empowered to co-create a whole new reality for yourself. So I was going to put in the place where you can go and register for the call on Thursday at 7 p.m. So let me find my link that I shortened. So you can just click on it and register for the teleconference. So this is no charge for you. I'm offering it. You can invite your friends. You can, you have to reserve your spot though, because we only have a certain number of seats for the conference call. And one of the guys, as I'm looking for this, let me tell you, one of the guys who was in the chat, he wasn't on the live seat, okay? He was just in the chat. And when I called him, no, No, he was on another Blab, and I chatted with him to say, well, how you doing? Just wanted to check in with you. He was like, I was gonna call you. He was like, because his business, the testimony he gave, and I recorded that too. And you'll see it. It says client testimony from Blab, self-healing session or something like that. He stated, okay, so here's the link. Hey, Vanessa, my HLIC sister from London. I was in a documentary called Head Ladies in Charge, and it's about women in the community who empower other women to greatness. And Miss Vanessa McLean, the Unleash the Fear, was in it with me, and she's in London. So I love this. And she was on one of the calls too, I think, where we did the clearings. But I think I had bad connection, so I don't know how well it went through for her. So this is where, okay, I know it says complimentary session, because that's actually what I'm going to be doing for you on Thursday night. It's a group's complimentary session for 7 p.m. So this is for October the 7th. This is where you're going to register. Let me put this in here correctly so it'll be clear for those listening to the replay. Register for Unleash Inner. Okay, Mia. Okay, come on in, Mia. Unleash Inner.
Hi, girlfriend.
Hey, girl. You're beautiful. Look at you.
I so enjoyed this. It's amazing.
Oh, wow. Good. Unleash. Okay, register for Unleash Inner Millionaire conference call.
I'm waiting because I'm going to click on it as soon as you post it.
All right. So, yeah, post. Let's see. Can I spell? Oh, my God. That is so wrong. OMG. Conference call. Vanessa, if you want to join us on the seat, you can too. Register for Unleash Your Inner Millionaire conference call, October 7th, 7 p.m. There you go. All right, you can go there and register. Yes, yes. And Mia, so I think, did I give everything? What was I talking about? Okay, so I was getting ready to tell you about the last testimony.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the guy that was in chat. So he's in Hawaii. So he shared with me that, let me go, I wrote it down so I can make sure I say it right. Okay, so he said that before working with Felicia, my company was at a standstill. 3 days after a group session on Blab with Felicia, my business increased exponentially and my thoughts were clear about the direction of my business. Procrastination gone. It was powerful. And I was like, whoa, wow, give thanks. And yeah, he was just saying, and and you'll see it on the testimony, he went into some details about, just some of the things he was dealing with because the company was at a standstill. Hey, Mark. And he said he didn't, him and his partner was talking about some things that they needed to do. And he said after the session, he said he just got thoughts of things he could do right now opposed to getting new clients, but with utilizing and activating the clients that he already had. And he said that Friday, he was like, they were so busy. I was like, wow, that was really good. And then he said he's a part of this spiritual group that they meet on Sunday. And he said he went and shared with them. It says page went wrong. The link is bad. Okay.
I think it might have had October on the end of it, sweetie.
Oh,
so if you'll just do that.
Yes,
Can you put your time zone in there too?
Yes, I sure will. Okay. All right, I sure will. Okay, so he was saying this group that he's a part of, he went to the session, and this is Central. He said he went to their meeting, and he was telling them about his experience with me. Oh, he was telling them about his experience with me, and he said, well, show us what she did. And so he he took him through it. You know, he said, but I didn't know how to change anything, but I just showed him we zip up our feel and we got our yes and our no and our body sway forward and backwards after asking the question. And he's like, they were so excited. So he said, hey, we definitely want to have a group session with you because I told him I do group sessions for your businesses, your teams, you know, whatever, so that everybody can be on the same page and in harmony with the goals that you have for your team. You know, and it's excellent. So that's enough about me. Yes, ma'am, Mia.
That's good.
Let's share.
Well, not just hearing you say that. This is the proof that you're living in purpose, because what you're doing is, you know, it's in clearing blocks. I mean, it sounds like for him, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm like, yes, please. Because I have so many exciting things going on. I'm on the precipice of a lot of it coming together, but I'm extremely overwhelmed. And so what you're saying about that, which is when I came in, and honestly, I don't even know how I found you. You're just on the beta, or you're just on the main page, and I'm like, ooh, manifestation. So the first thing that you said that I loved was, you know, just, I think it's like, you go ahead and start with the things that you've got going on right now. Like you said, you've got clients that you can follow up with. So you don't need to create a bunch of new shit to do this, right? Because that's my thing. I think a lot of us like, let me make up a bunch of new stuff and complicate it because I'm controlling or frightened or, you know, moving from a place of scarcity as opposed to abundance. So, but I do feel like this is a super exciting time because it's, I think Mercury is either almost out of retrograde. We had that crazy moon, earlier, right? And so I think for those who are plugged in, empath, intuitives, and I'm assuming that everybody that's on here has got to be in that. It's a really powerful time. So I'd love to find out more, and maybe even before Thursday, what you're doing and hook my shiz up.
Right. Yes. I will put the link in there. Okay. So let me put the link in there for you to get some more information and even do a session, you know, before then. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. I'll do that right now. Okay. And that's what I love, because I started out referring to myself as a spiritual life and business shit shifter. And that's a program that I have. And so the shit really
that's what it is. I feel like we all just need to really take a big poop, emotional, spiritual poop. Right? Yes. Who doesn't love that?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It really is.
And so to make it easier for people to understand and grasp, and not so much it's easier to understand and grasp, but to show the dynamics from the extremes of the literal shit, that stuff that we know is not causing us any good, is not in our highest good, and for anybody else's highest good, and no judgment, but how you doing? It means the acronym is self-healing inner talk. Self-healing inner talk. And so,
okay, Annie, thank you.
And so that has been, really that has been my saving grace, with being able to know that, okay, Felicia, you got to be honest with yourself, and really it's so. That's another tip. I do tips on how to release stress too. It also releases a lot of the weight. I mean, you feel so much lighter when you do that. And I just encourage everybody, like I said, to just go in your closet or go when you're in the bathroom, looking in the mirror. First you want to look in the mirror and look in your eye, see that silhouette of yourself in your eye, and say, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Say it as many times as you can. I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
Do you know what's great about that? I'm sorry, I just have to say this because I've heard that before, and I actually heard it through a business coach that I worked with earlier this year that turned out disastrously. Just
really?
Oh, honey. And so I had some baggage around that because of this gal. And so I like this better to start with me, because I was having a hard time saying that to people. Now that's my own stuff of control stuff from bad childhood things. But I like this better starting with saying it to myself.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, you just broke the seal for me on that one.
Yes, yeah, and like I said, and look, I mean, when you look in the mirror, you're gonna see that silhouette of yourself, that reflection of yourself, and
Okay.
it builds confidence.
Mm,
I mean, you may even cry just depending on the intensity of, your experiences and your trauma and the stuff
sure.
that you're holding on to and how it's showing up. But it's
Yeah.
so freeing, and I say it even, just throughout the day when I'm feeling, a little weighed down or whatever the case may be, or I'm in my feelings about, oh, this not happening fast enough,
Right. Yeah.
you
Hello.
know, all of that, and it's like, okay, I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, thank you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And it's become like a running mantra. I write it, girl, it's like, oh my gosh.
I'm
So,
typing
okay,
it
so
in.
I'm gonna put this in the chat. So this is the program, because it's a 5-week program, and then I have single sessions too.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. Here you go. There you
I
go.
think that's my thing. That's oh, awesome. Thank you. Is kind of tripping me up is that there's so many different things that I could do. I'm getting overwhelmed with all the different things that I can do. And I love what you said, because I think the other thing I'm worked on even this morning was like getting something done, boom, releasing it, stop fussing, stop staring at it. You're like saying, okay, I'm going to follow up with this client. I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to finish this video. I just came off of a 2-week road trip that I was doing for Kia, and then traveling, and I drove from Denver to LA all the way back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of windshield time, a lot of seeing a lot of people, a lot of content, photos, things that I did. So it's very overwhelming. So I think the clarity that I'm looking for of like, what's that next step, instead of trying to create a bunch of pig pen dust. I've got to rattle around and control stuff. How you like that?
Yes. And this also, same here. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
That's another powerhouse. Y'all follow Michelle. That's another powerhouse. That's another powerhouse. Woohoo!
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Energy.
It is. Yeah, she good people. So yeah, it's like, that being honest with where you are. And this was huge for me. Welcome, JP Freeman. This was huge for me. It was like having to, or feeling like, because I know you have some of this energy too, just reading your name, and knowing a little bit about, the energies around your name. It's like these unrealistic expectations that we put on ourselves. And I won't say that they're unrealistic. Yeah, I won't say that they're unrealistic. I think that for me personally, it has been, it came from a place of not enoughness. Okay, yeah. It came out of not being enough.
Solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I had the experience and how this showed up for me, it was around, I was doing my certification for this process that I take you all through with Awakening Dynamics. So I was doing my training to become an instructor. And so we had to be out there for 10 days, right? So we did level 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so I was on a buddy pass, because again, it was at this point where I was relinquishing dysfunctional relationships, dysfunctional people, places, things, and reestablishing my whole relationship with money myself. Okay, because I was going through an eviction, had never been through anything like that before. Wow. And it was like, I was at the point where I had begun to, I had already did it before I got to this point. So this was along the journey of leading me to, that's when I was talking about earlier about the unexpected, the doors, the ways and the means that may not be on your radar that you can even see happening. So because I had begun this process of looking at when I was successful, what was I doing versus what I'm doing now, and now being able to implement those things that did bring me success, those disciplines, those thought processes, those ways of being that did bring me success versus what I'm doing now, and taking what I'm doing now and combining those together. So I was in that phase of putting that together, releasing, worrying about what others gonna say, worrying about what it's gonna look like because I'm changing, worrying about, now I'm coming out the closet and being my highly intuitive, sensitive, spiritual self of who I am.
Yeah.
No longer hiding that behind my back and trying to fit in, which I never really did anyway.
Or saying quietly under your breath, like, and then I also struggle.
Right. And so as I was on this journey with doing that, it was like I realized I was reestablishing my own personal relationship with money, and so it was like, okay, so this was all in the same time of me taking this class, doing this certification. So of course it was very supportive, it was very helpful, and it was up leveling me at an exponential rate, because I'm like, I'm excited at the same time. I'm like, woe is me, po is me, and woe is me, po is me. And then at the same time, it's like, it was what we talked about earlier when we were saying about, when I was reading to you guys about manifestations and the affirmations that we use and how we say these affirmations, but we're not getting results from them. So it's a block. It's something that's missing. So it was these limiting beliefs. It was these programs that I was running in my head. It was this negative self-talk. It was... Sorry, y'all. I'm at somebody's. Yeah, really.
I'm waiting for my beagle to start barking. She's going to join in. Shit's going to hit the fan. It's going to be awesome.
So it was all at the same time. And so I'm wrestling with, because I'm being honest with myself about my shit and where I am and why I do what I do. And at the same time, forgiving myself, being loving to myself, so I'm dealing with all these different ranges of emotions, which is not new to me, because that has been a pattern in my life. That has been a part of my journey. And that is what has served me. So when I was working with a particular person that's on this blab who was really trying to help me, and who I had really good intentions of working with, and she said something that was so key, and this was all during that same time. And she said, "You don't know your value." And I could have just fell on the floor, because it was true.
Seriously.
It was so true. And I had never thought about it like that, because consciously you couldn't have told me that, because I didn't act like that. And this is validating proof of the work that I do when I help you to see that what we think consciously is not lining up with what's happening subconsciously, in which is the subconscious mind controls 95% of what we do, of what we create, who we be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask you, do you mind that I jump in with questions?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay, good. Because I love when you get, because I love when you get on your tear, because like I can totally, because as I call, I'm getting on a tear, because it's when we're in the flow, right?
Right.
And being empathic, same thing. I do that when I work with, either when I coach people with video stuff, like I just get on it floods, right? You get connected, flooded. So I'm just wondering too, with what you're saying, and I love this, because that's a position that I'm in. Do you think there's an easy shift? Do you think that once you do kind of block that or drop that, like, talk to me about that?
I do think that, well, I know now that it can be an easy shift. It doesn't have to be hard. And that's why I was saying that when you, because this is how the shift became easier for me to embody, because it's always evolving, right? Okay. So this is how it became easy for me to embody, because I was able to be honest with myself about why I do what I do when I do it. And that helps the shift to be so much more palatable. It gives you courage. It gives you courage. Okay. Because when you do that, who else knows why you do what you do? Now, and this does not negate the fact of what other people see from a different perspective, okay? Just like I
Right.
was sharing with the person who's on this particular blab that just recently joined me, shared with me that I didn't know my value. However, you couldn't have consciously told me that, but my actions dictated it because I was in a place of settling. I was in a
Yes,
place of
fear,
settling,
settling,
fear. Yes. Okay.
doubt, and speaking more quietly, and not just being like out loud and proud, balls out,
Yes.
right? The balls out thing of like,
Exactly.
yeah, this is it.
Exactly. So that was really huge. That was really huge. And it took me to another whole level in the ascension process. To whereas now when I was taking this class and I was traveling on a buddy pass and I missed the first day of the second class, which was level 2, but I was able to still do my assignments because it was video. We were able to do video. So I really didn't miss anything. When I was returning, it came full circle and showed me that it was showing up as a scarcity mentality. A scarcity mentality, okay? And when I was sitting there in that airport, and it was like God just dropped a love bomb on me. Boom! It's a scarcity mentality. And I tell you, I just started bawling. I was like, but I was so happy. I was so happy.
Yeah.
It wasn't sad. I was so happy.
I was
so happy. And so what that triggered was now I was looking at my whole life. I was just reflecting on my whole life, and I could see how everything that I have actually said that I wanted, I have gotten. And so now it's a contrast, right? Or seemingly a contrast, because if I got a scarcity mentality, how am I getting everything? How have I had everything that I wanted? Okay.
Right.
That doesn't make sense, right? However, what it tied into was three months in the womb. It stemmed from shame that my mother was carrying when she was pregnant with me. So you
did you find that out, or did she share that with you?
No, she didn't share that with me. I was in a session, and of course, when we are doing our thing and in sessions, and you're asking questions, it's like, okay, where did the shame come from? Was it cellular? Yes. Okay. And I just had this feeling. It was, welcome, Chris. It was maternal. It was maternal. So I was like, okay, so is it past life? How many past lives ago? And then is it maternal? Yes. And it just clicked. 3 months in the room, 3 months in the womb. And then I asked the question, and it was like, yes. And I was like, yo, wow. And what make it so, hey, Miss Georgia, what makes it so beautiful,
Hey, Colin.
What makes it so beautiful was that some years before this was like maybe in 95, maybe 95, 96, I asked my mother what were the conditions surrounding my birth. And she said, I just prayed a lot. She said, because I was scared. And she said, your grandmama was crazy. She said, your grandmama was crazy. And so she said, I prayed a lot. I just prayed a lot. And so that made sense to me, because it brought a lot of clarity to why I am the way that I am. And I know, guys, we've talked about the manifestation do's and don'ts, and now we're in the question and answer period. So now it's just taking us to some other realms. So you have to catch a replay on the do's and don'ts, because we're in good space now. Yeah, we're evolving.
Right. Hit the replay. Share it out and hit the replay. There you go.
So it just made a lot of sense, and it really gave me more confidence in being able to show up authentically as to who I am and honoring who I am and how I'm made and
then it's exponential.
Whose I am. Yes.
That's right. So, and I was thinking about this, and then I'm going to have to run here in a second. Okay. I'm so glad I got to get on with you. This is great. Yeah. I was I've been kind of remiss on a lot of prayer and meditation. I have 5 spirit guides that I commune with a lot. I found them about 2 years ago, or they found me. And I was like, who are you guys? It was a cool story. But so I sort of haven't been communing with them. Oh, look at you.
We are going to go to Evergreen.
Oh, are you?
Want to go? Or?
No, I'm good. I'm okay. Right down. Hold on one second. What time are you going?
It might be hard for her.
No. I'll take her out separately.
It's about a 3-hour.
Okay. Hey, Georgia, if you want to join us and share your experience from Friday with us, I would love to hear. We did another part of Unleash Your Inner Millionaire with the subconscious block clearings and the beliefs. And on, I think it was Friday. Yeah, because that was your birthday. Yeah, that was your birthday. And Miss Georgia joined us on the seat doing a live demonstration and had some breakthroughs. And we were dealing with poverty. We were dealing with vows of poverty and not enoughness. So if you want to do that, Georgia, okay, thank you, Michelle. We'll talk to you later. Good to see you. If you would like to join us, Miss Georgia, we'd love to have you.
Ooh,
okay.
I want to hear that. And I'm so sorry, sweetie. I'm just getting back into town and staying with friends. So everything kind of pops in a little bit. But
okay, no problem.
But
yeah, that's me too.
Oh, girl, I know it's all kind of all over the place. But I was listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks this weekend, whom I could just eat, drink, sleep, Abraham Hicks, and always get something different. But I do love when he was talking about the vortex, and that once you do sort of get into that zone where you're just not freaking out, like you're literally not just like every single manifestation, you're just so in the zone, it becomes this effortless type of thing.
Right.
And I can totally see that from getting past that, those big blocks. And once you found that out, once you determined that about the 3 months, your birth, the whole thing, I mean, that was it. Like, you don't have to sit on that and have that happen out every 2 seconds. That's it. You recognize it, you gave it a name, up and out. I think it's fascinating that I think the more we get in that vortex, it's that higher vibration.
Yes.
And because what is it? What they talk about that is it fear is like the lowest vibration. I think love vibrates at like 500 and above.
I think it's shame. No, fear is not the lowest. It's another one that's lower than fear. I think it's shame. Shame
is
and
it
guilt,
shame?
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Those are icky. I mean, food, right? Icky. But anyway, yes, I did a lot of Abraham Hicks this weekend too. So this is so in line with it as well. And I haven't really had time to get in that higher listening to programs like this, that kind of thing. Cause I've been run. So when you do kind of stop, drop and roll, and as soon as I jump off here, I'm going to go to the mirror. So.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But great job today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Georgia, she says, was listening as I was packing. Just have a minute, have a client now. Happy to share sometime soon. Okay, good. We're going to be looking for that from Miss Georgia. Give thanks.
All right, sweetie. Well, I'm going to take this out again, and I'll get in touch with you, and I'll sign up for Thursday. But what a blessing. You're so living in purpose.
Oh, give thanks. I'm so grateful. Oh, gosh, I'm so grateful.
Me too. Yes. Me too.
Yes. And it's nice to meet you. I look forward to vibing up with you. All right.
Yes, I love that. Okay, bye, honey.
Yes. All right, take care. All right, guys. So anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, challenges? Hey, Michael, we're going to be ending. We've been on now for almost 2 hours, so I got to go do some work. But you can catch the replay. And we talked about manifestation do's and don'ts, gave some tips. Okay, Vanessa, yes, ma'am, come on in. And offered I'm going to be doing, and I put it back in the chat, going to be doing a call on Thursday to Unleash Your Inner Millionaire, taking you through some different blocks that some of us, most of us have, whether we are conscious of them or not. And part of that is keeping us from unleashing our inner millionaire. So I want to help empower us. And I'm going to put the link in where you can go and register for this complimentary group session we're going to be doing. And as we stated in the beginning, I will recap this. We talked about that a lot of the mechanisms, these are called mechanisms, that are ways by which we are successful and prosperous, but they are not the reasons we are. You know, if we have a good job, or if we have a degree, or we have to struggle, we have to work hard to make the money. Those are mechanisms. Those are not the reasons we are successful. Okay, so that's just a recap. I did want to share that part. Welcome, my head lady in charge, sister, hashtag HLIC. Namaste, beautiful. How are you? Oh, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. No. No, I can't hear you at all. So while Vanessa gets her volume in place, okay, I hear you now.
Better?
Yes, that's
You can
better.
hear me?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
I don't know what happened just then. Challenges, but we're going to get through no matter what.
Yes. Challenges, I like to say challenges are opportunities for us to be creative and overcome them, So they don't have to be blocks. Yeah, the opportunities for us to see our greatness. Yes.
Right.
What would you like to share?
Well, now you spoke about something earlier on about manifestation and the kind of mindset that we have behind it, whether it's a scarcity mindset or an abundant mindset. And we literally attract what we send out into the universe. One of the things that I've been doing for the last maybe 6 weeks, and I think you've been doing this as well, it's the oath of manifestation.
Yes.
It has really created a new reality, because as you read that, you feel each word, it's already happened. And I think what's really important is that you put yourself in that place, that you can see it, you can feel it, it becomes tangible before it's even happened. And yes, you need the courage to do it. And we keep hearing this word, courage. It takes courage to get up every morning. It takes courage to go after your dream. It takes courage to believe that whatever you want to be manifested can and must be manifested. So I'm just happy. I'm delighted, because one of the things I ask for every single day is to make sure that when I get up, I'm going to impact someone's life, because our stories, and that, Felicia, our stories are healing. Our stories bring power, and our stories give life. And it's important that as we get up, we be that beacon that allows others to live their life to their fullest, to be courageous, to be that head lady in charge.
That's right. Right. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing. It's been really beautiful. So Mark.
Well, I'm not going to stay on late, but I mean, I just love what you're doing. I'm going to be on Blab later on this evening if anyone's around, talking about courage. Okay. So if you're someone who lacks that, join me, because we've all got that story to tell, but maybe you haven't got the courage to tell it. So maybe this is a good place to start talking. But I love what you're doing. Let us continue in the same mold. We've got to manifest our new reality.
Yes. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Much love.
Much love to you. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Okay then.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys. Well, this is going to be it for me. And again, catch us on Thursday. We talked a little bit about it today, about resetting the financial thermostat. And you will find that having these sessions, and even going through this group session that we're offering for Thursday, that you can go here and register for, Control C, is that it will help to increase your financial thermostat and your ability of how much you can hold. Okay, it does help to increase that, and it's powerful. Welcome, Teralina. Welcome. We are winding up, and it's been wonderful. So the replay will be available shortly, and we went deep into talking about manifestation do's and don'ts, and the power of detaching from results. The power of detaching from results, being honest with yourself about why you do what you do. That's really key number one, and the big key to manifesting is the feeling. So I will go over this analogy one more time, because I think no matter where you came in, it will serve you. Okay, it will definitely serve you. And some of the common blocks to wealth and prosperity that will help us support our ability to unleash our inner millionaire. Some of the things we're going to be covering on the call are reasons to be poor, vows of poverty, the belief that we have to struggle to make money or we have to make sacrifices to make money, the true nature of money. We're going to be dealing with vows of poverty. We're going to be dealing with becoming a rich person and what that, what our beliefs are around that. All right. And as we talked about earlier, is that some of the beliefs that some of the beliefs that we're going to go through, you're going to find that you have some that you didn't think that you had. And why is that? That is because it could have been passed down generationally. Yeah. Oh, wow. You will watch the replay. Yes, definitely. And so what I did want to share with you that we shared earlier, and this is a real key. We want you, another tip was to start with small things. Start with small things to build up the trust within yourself, of your ability to listen and be aware of that small, still voice that is within us, that warns, that proves, that reproves, that guides, okay? And knowing that your finance, your degrees, your good jobs, your inheritance, your success, your what else? What other way that we talk about that are actually mechanisms? They are not the reasons you may have a lot of money if you have a lot of money, because there are people who are out there that's dumb as a rock that have a lot of money. No pun intended. I'm not making fun, no judgment. It is true. Okay. They got some money. They got a lot of money. Okay. And they're not working, or they may, I don't want to judge how they got it. However, there are people out there who have it, and it is not because of what they did or didn't do. It is based off of their subconscious beliefs system. Okay, the subconscious beliefs. And so based off of the beliefs that we are whole, the programs, and I refer to it as baggage, you'll hear me refer to it as shit. And the shit is also literal, and it is also an acronym. Okay, so oh my gosh, that cracked me dumb as a rock. So we will find that those are not the reasons. That is not the reason we are successful, because we know people who have degrees, PhDs, and can't get a job and are struggling. Okay, so that's simply mechanisms by which when you have the right beliefs, subconscious beliefs, which controls 95% of what we create, because we're always in creation mode. That's the mechanism by which the frequency of the energy rides in on. It's the deliverables. Okay. So let me introduce this to you. All right. So this metaphor we shared earlier, and it's going to be a recap for some, but you can never hear this. You can hear this so much that it empowers you and you embody it. Okay. So imagine that your life is like a car. Your life is like a car. Your body and the world around you are the car. Your thoughts are the steering wheel, and your feeling is the fuel that gasses the tank up to get you where you're going. So the key in that is the feelings. All right. And I talked a little bit about how when we have these negative feelings, we can remember, we feel it, we hold on to it, we get comfortable with it. And that is what's setting up a lot of the dis-ease that we have, because it shows up on the emotional body before it manifests on the physical body. So with cancer and breast cancer, this is domestic violence month. Okay, but with breast cancer is tied emotionally to resentment. Okay, not being nurtured. Resentfulness. Okay, so when, so when people, hey, Miss Patricia, so when I hear about people having different ailments and, they have different sicknesses, you can, and because I'm clairsentient, when I'm doing sessions, I can actually feel sometimes when you are aching in certain areas of your body or having certain issues with your body. But each organ vibrates at a frequency and it is tied to an emotion. Okay. So it's a powerful thing. I love this whole oneness lifestyle that we are a part of. And one of our organizations I'm president of is called Oneness Wellness Foundation. Oneness Wellness Foundation, where we help you to awaken the body's ability to self-heal in the domains of spirit, mind, body, family, finances, and society, because it's a holistic approach. It's a holistic approach. So as a hairstylist, I'm a hairstylist too. As a hairstylist, when my clients would come in and they were stressed out, they would have bald patches, alopecia. It would show up as bald patches in the hair. And so depending on where they were, I could know what was going on and what they're stressing out about. Okay. And so nutrition plays a part. I encourage my clients to, and I encourage everybody listening to this presently and on the replay to drink half your body weight in ounces of pure water. Okay, either alkaline water, and you want to make sure it's alkaline balanced, because too alkaline will also set up disease as much as acid will set up disease. Okay, so you want to always have a harmonious atmosphere in your body. Welcome. And so drinking, having enough water intake, because the water is so key. Our brain needs 85% of the water that we ingest. So if you are suffering with cloudy thoughts, start drinking more water, and put you some lemon in your water. Okay. And every now and then put some cayenne in the water. That will help to detox the body and activate the circulatory system. Okay. So it can release a lot of the blocks within the circulatory system and the sludge in the arteries and all of that type of stuff. So it will also help to lower your blood pressure, because your arteries will be cleansed so that the blood can flow through. All right, the blood can flow through. Welcome, Cedric. So you see how I can get out. I just love talking about this stuff, because it's such a beautiful experience when you just start practicing the whole oneness of it, because each system supports each other, and that's the oneness. That's the oneness. Oh, I'm silly, so I'm doing me. I'm silly, and I love having fun. So my name means joy, and that's who I am. It means happy, and that's for the most part who I am. I find the good in everything, and people have told me, they're like, girl, sometimes I get on people's nerves because they want to be negative and they can't around me, so because I find the good in everything, and I've just accepted the fact that that's how I'm made, and I'm happy with that, and I like it. It serves me. So getting back to the point, yes, my clients will come with alopecia, and so just, I would encourage them to drink more water. I would ask them about their nutritional intake, if they're eating a lot of table salt, because sodium and table salt is two different types of sodium, okay? We need the good sodium that you get from celery, okay? All right, welcome, One Click Lindsay. And so I would talk to them about their diet and nutrition, and so I was really helping them to close the gap that what you put in your mouth affects your hair along with everything else. It affects your hair along with everything else, and your hair is your first line of defense that something is happening, something is going on. So when you start having a lot of excessive shedding to feel positive, it's the main element, isn't it? Yes, that encourages the other aspects of living, as you say, food, drink. Yes. And so when we are having good nutrition, and when your hair is shedding a lot, there are seasons by which we experience excessive shedding as well. Okay. And then you have these seasons where your hair grow, really fast. So you want to start paying attention. Welcome, Dennis. We're kind of ending, but we're just kind of going over recapping. So you have to catch the replay for all the the real goody stuff. So I'm just kind of recapping. So when your hair starts, it goes through different seasons. So pay attention to your hair, because that is the first line of defense. Welcome, Stephanie. We're kind of ending. We're just kind of recapping. And I'm just offering some other tidbit health, oneness, lifestyle information, because we are wanting to be in oneness. All right. Okie dokie. Thanks for letting me catch the replay. So when your hair is experiencing, excessive shedding, that type of thing, that's a signal. So you want to set the intention to pay attention to what's happening with your body. If you get a welcome, Renee, we're kind of winding down, but just kind of giving some tips on health and wellness as it relates to, even manifesting a greater body and a healthier existence in all areas of your life: family, finances, spirit, mind, body, family, finances, and society, because they all tie together. Okay, so I was saying that I choose to remember. Okay, give thanks. So when we are having when we have these aches, we have this little tinge in the back, and you're like, oh, what was that? You want to pay attention to that. You want to pay attention to that, and pay attention to what you're doing and the thoughts that you're thinking when it happens. Because remember, I said earlier that how powerful the words that we speak, okay, the thoughts that we have, we're always in creation mode. Always in creation mode. So it's important. So when you have a uncomfortable or different feeling in your body, pay attention to that, okay? Because dehydration and stress will kill you, okay? It causes other stuff, and those are the main, that's at the core, the underlying core of some of the other diseases, okay? Dehydration and stress, because the body needs water. And I was saying earlier, make sure you are ingesting at least half your body weight in ounces in water. Okay, if you don't drink water, just start somewhere. Okay, start. Put some lemon in it. No sugar water. Don't do that. No sugar water. That's defeating the purpose, because what happens when we ingest a lot of table salt and processed foods and sugar is that it robs the body of the moisture. Okay, it robs the body of the moisture. So for those wine drinkers, drink your wine, okay, cool, no problem. Drink water. Drink half your body weight in ounces in water. That is such a key of life, because the circulatory system, all the systems, they need the water to get the cells and get everything going where it's supposed to go. That's the current. That water and the electricity that we see, the electricity that's inside of us, that's the current. That is the current. You're welcome. You're welcome. That is the current. And so we have to nourish to flourish, and we can alleviate a lot of the mental blocks that we have. Okay, because the brain needs 85% of the water that the body has. And if you're not ingesting enough water, then you're losing your memory, you're dehydrating your brain, it's shriveling up. Oh, it's just withering away. Really? Nourish to flourish. That's right. Nourish to flourish. Okay. And so I like my sweets, and I know how to use moderation and enjoy myself, So I used to be a comfort eater. I was 30 pounds overweight and lost it, and have kept it off for the last 15, 20 years now. Okay, welcome, Black Coops. So y'all done had me on this doggone thing for almost 2.5 hours. I love it though. Thank you so much for joining me and listening. So again, I just want to, you can take a look at the replay. We are doing I just took a huge swig of water. Good, Mia. Very good. We're going to be doing a Unleash Your Inner Millionaire conference call, and I'll put the link in here where you can go register. Oops. What happened? I put the link in. Oh, there we go. Doggone it. Okay, I got to do that over again. I put the link in here where you can go register. We're going to be clearing blocks around our beliefs around money and what's preventing us from having the wealth and prosperity that we are destined and divinely entitled to. Okay, so check out the replays. Too much to recap because then I'll be another whole hour because then I'm gonna start talking about something else that's gonna bring up something else, and I got some more work that I have to do, okay, on this journey of unleashing my inner millionaire as well. All right, so you can check out the replays from last week, the Unleash Your Inner Millionaire series. We've done 4 parts so far. On Thursday, we'll be doing the 5th part, which is resetting your financial thermostat. Okay, meaning the amount of money that you can hold, because once you start clearing this baggage that I call limiting beliefs, programs, and negative self-talk, you increase your ability to attract more money, attract more resources, attract more people, places, and things that are destined to serve you and support you and help you live a purposeful life. Okay, so with that, I am going to bid you all much love, peace, prosperity, and courage, forgiveness, and being honest with yourself about your shit. Those unproductive people, places, things, that's you, okay, that's about you, not about nobody else. This is all about you. And when we release that shit, it turns into the acronym, which is self-healing inner talk, because now you begin to you are awakened to how you used to do things, and now you're choosing willingly to have a different experience. You're choosing willingly to have a different experience. And putting this disclaimer in there, it doesn't mean that they won't show up again. It's just when those feelings come up, or those tendencies and those characteristics present themselves, you know how to now transform that thought, that feeling, that belief, that negative tape that's playing in your head into the self-healing inner talk. And you're releasing judgment. Okay, you're releasing judgment. So you can be present, you can be loving of yourself, forgiving, and you can be exalted. Okay, I said exalted, and ascend to higher levels of consciousness and being. So with that, I'm going to bid you peace, power, and presence. Peace be unto you. Namaste, Hotep, Shalom, and Ashe. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Hope to see you next week. Well, not next week, but this week, Thursday. I'm blabbing it up again tomorrow, so let's follow each other and keep the energy flowing. All right, be well. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm going to stop recording now.